Hello! In your opinion, is it normal for a mature person to wake up with a phone and a TV, even before washing their face, and before saying good morning or making breakfast for their partner, and to go to sleep the same way? And when they are told that this is offensive and hurtful, they justify it by saying that's just how they are and they must be accepted as such.
First off, thank you for sending this in. It's a question that honestly so many people can relate to, and it gets right to the heart of a very modern struggle in relationships. But here's the thing. To really get to the bottom of this, we need to shift our focus. The real question isn't whether this is normal. It's about what this behavior means inside the relationship. So let's dive into that dynamic together.
Okay, so first things first, let's just get this out of the way. Starting and ending the day glued to a screen? Yeah, that is incredibly common. In our hyper-connected world, literally millions of people do this every single day. But, and this is a big but, just because something's common doesn't automatically make it harmless, especially when a partner's feelings are getting tangled up in it.
So why do we do it? If we look at the psychology behind the habit, it's usually not coming from a bad place. A lot of the time, it's just that, a simple, ingrained habit. Or maybe it's an escape from the stress of the day, or anxiety about the one that's about to start. For some, it's just a way to switch off the brain, right? Or get that quick hit of stimulation from notifications and news feeds. On their own, these reasons aren't inherently unhealthy.
But this is where everything pivots. This is the key. Even if the reasons for grabbing the phone are totally understandable, that doesn't just erase the impact it has. Because when you're in a relationship, your actions don't exist in a vacuum. A habit that feels totally personal can actually send a really powerful and maybe unintentional message to the person lying right next to you. So let's be really clear about this. The core problem here isn't the phone. It's not the TV. Technology is just the tool being used. It's really just a symptom of a much deeper dynamic playing out in the relationship. The real issue is all about connection and how we respond to each other. A habit crosses that line and becomes a real problem when one person consistently feels neglected. Those precious moments in the morning and at night, which are such prime opportunities for connection, they get lost. An emotional void starts to form. But the biggest damage, the real damage, happens the moment one partner says, "Hey, this hurts me," and those feelings are just ignored or dismissed. That right there, that is the moment of truth. If you strip away all the excuses about being stressed or it being just a habit, you're left with this one fundamental question. This is the question the person with the phone is answering, not with their words, but with their actions. Their response, or their lack of a response, tells you everything you need to know.
Now let's talk about that defense that was mentioned in the original question. That's just how I am. You have to accept me. On the surface, it sounds so simple, like they're just stating a fact. But psychologically, that phrase is a very complex and, well, a very revealing defense mechanism.
When someone says, "That's just how I am," in response to your pain, what they're communicating is often much deeper. You can signal a profound unwillingness to adapt for the health of the relationship. It might even reveal a fear of intimacy, like if they change, they might have to connect on a level that feels scary. And very often, it's just a way to avoid taking responsibility for the impact of their actions.
And right here you can see the difference between relational immaturity and maturity in stark contrast. The immature stance is a rigid wall, it's a demand. But the mature stance, that's a bridge. It acknowledges one's own tendencies, but it also honors the partner's feelings. It opens the door for compromise. It says, "You matter to me, so your pain matters to me."
And let's be perfectly clear about this. True acceptance in a healthy relationship is about accepting a person's core self, their quirks, their essence. It is not, and it should never, ever be, a requirement to tolerate behavior that consistently causes you emotional pain. You have a right to your feelings, and you have a right to a relationship where those feelings are respected.
So, with all of that said, let's shift gears for a second. Let's turn the focus away from your partner and direct it inward, toward you. Instead of asking if their behavior is normal, let's ask some more important questions about your own experience in all of this.
When you wake up in the morning or go to bed at night, in those quiet moments, do you feel like your partner truly sees you as a person? Or do you feel like you're secondary to a screen?
And beyond just being seen, do you feel like you are a priority? Does the attention you get or don't get make you feel valued and significant in their life?
And finally, when you voice a need, like the need for a simple "good morning" before a screen, is there space for that need to be heard, respected, and addressed? Or does it feel like that space is already filled?
Asking ourselves these questions, well, it leads us straight to the core insight of this entire situation. We started this explainer talking about a simple habit, but we end up somewhere much more profound.
I mean, think about it. The request isn't to change their entire personality. The request is usually for a small gesture of connection, a few minutes of screen-free time, a good morning kiss, a real conversation before sleep. So, when even that small step is refused, especially after you vulnerably shared that you were hurting,
then the issue is no longer about a habit being hard to break. It has become a conscious choice. It's a statement about what is being prioritized at that moment. And when the screen is consistently prioritized over your expressed emotional needs, that sends a message that is impossible to ignore.
So what's the final takeaway? At the end of the day, the phone is the symptom, not the disease. The real conversation isn't about screen time. It's about emotional presence, respect, and whether both partners are willing to prioritize the connection that holds the relationship together. The answer to that question reveals everything.